title of this video is, how are you going to get gains if you don't retain? And it's actually a multifaceted statement that I'm making here, because there are two sides to this, right? So you want to get gains, you want to get big in the gym, and you want to build up your stature and frame to feel strong and to look scary. Those are two of the main reasons I feel like why people want to go to the gym, right? Which is a good thing. But not only do you have to go to the gym or exercise, whether you do it from home and you utilize whatever it is that's around in your environment, in your personal space, or you decide to take yourself to travel and get ready and go to a public gym and do all of that, which for me is extra work. So I personally work out from home because I get enough gains. I eat what I want when I need to eat it. I can work out straight away. There's no delay in terms of traffic or any of that you have to handle or you have to go through when you traveling and going on your way to the gym. So it's just like, I stopped going to public gyms because of that, and I kind of just work out from home. I might go to a public gym from time to time, from with a friend, messing around, or I don't know, to do something specific. But at home, it's kind of like is where I focus and lock in, and I just kind of work out in silence. And I have this mind to matter, like mind muscle connection, right? If that's how you want to say it, that's what I've got. Because there's no lights, there's no music. It doesn't feel like a club. It feels more like I don't know, I'm one with myself in nature, and I'm just in this like retreat type of setting where I can really focus on what it is I'm trying to accomplish and get there faster than the average person. You know, because average people, they go to the gym. Oh, how long you been going to gym? Oh, I've been going to gym 10 years. And he looks like a stick man. You know, he looks still slender. I don't want to be that guy. You know, and I realize if I don't want to be that guy, I can't be surrounded by guys who are that guy. Because yeah, there are some big ass dudes in the gym too, but they probably can focus better in the environment. Maybe it puts them in focus. All of that chaos and distraction that I personally feel that when I get when I go to the gym, I should say, right? It takes me out my element. But for a next guy, it'll put him in his element. So we're different in that regard, right? I can't explain it. I don't know why. Maybe I have ADHD, autism, or I don't know, some type of unresolved trauma or something. But that's just personally for me what works. So I'm going to stick to that until I need to evolve and change things. And so for the time being, it's what I do. And so how are you going to get gains if you don't retain? Well, you have to be consistent in exercising in order to actually see progress, right? Substantially over time, which will give you even more motivation on top of that to just keep going. And all of this is better doing it when you're young, before you get too old and you haven't had the chance to really like see how far your potential goes when it comes to your physical strength and size. So this is something to do. Like, if you haven't done this in your teens, you're not too late. But if you're in your 20s, do it now. If you're in your 30s, you missed probably a lot of development that you're not going to get, but do it anyway, and so on and so forth. But if you're 50, 60 plus, I don't know, you're on a downhill spiral from that point, just because the testosterone levels naturally drop as you age. And then you're probably going to have to take TRT if you want to see something huge. But if you're okay with just the minimal peel off results that you're going to get at that point, then it is what it is, and you got to accept it. And so, yeah, I was also going to factor this in with semen retention as well. How are you going to get gains if you don't retain? Have to be consistent, retain exercising, right, over a long period of time. Progressive overload leads to growth. Not only that, but your body actually has to be prepared to do the exercise. It needs energy. It needs like all of these different compounds of elements that we have naturally as like minerals and, you know, all this stuff that we produce naturally. It's actually produced through like pretty much our balls, right? Testosterone. It's all within like it's all within the semen, which is like the actual liquid, not the sperm itself, but like the semen is the liquid, and that's where like all of our hormones and like the way we feel literally is all like included within that. It's science. And so There's a reason why it has the power to create a kid, okay? And what the kids need, they need nutrients, they need all this to even be given a chance at life. And so a lot of people might refute this message and be like, what are you talking about, semen retention? Like, I gotta bust a nut because I feel like I want to do it. Yeah, I mean, you can do it for sure, but there's a reason it makes you like lightheaded and weak after and kind of shamed and embarrassed because you feel weak, right? You literally lost energy, and therefore when you lose energy and a great amount of energy, like very quickly like that, it's a drastic drop in energy that you have, and therefore you're gonna feel what? Shitty and shameful, obviously, because you feel weak. It's natural, but it's not natural the fact in which the average guy does it so much. They just release their seed, release their power, and they relinquish themselves on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. And it's just like, you're never going to unlock your full potential and get to the realization of, the final concept version that you can be like of yourself if you don't like fully lock in, or you don't lock in as much as possible. I'm not saying you can never bust your nut. You can have a schedule behind it. I don't know, maybe once a month or whatever, bro. But like, there's a reason some athletes do this stuff and all of that. So I was actually gonna take my top off and show some gains. So let me just do that because I'm a crazy dude. Hold on. I want to show y'all niggas something. I'm out the camera right now, but I was like, fuck it. You know what? Let me just show y'all niggas what the fuck it looks like. And I'm early in my journey. Like, I just started lifting like a year ago. But I'm like, I got lean-ish. I got me a little physique. So fuck it, why not show it and see where this goes? I've got like, let me see. Okay, are we in the frame? I don't know if I've got like my biceps going on here, but I've got my biceps in here, a little chest, hit the flex. I got something going on. Anyways, enough of that. I'm gonna put my shirt back on, and get back to the vid. But yeah, and the gains are coming quick. And I've got a lifting session on today as well. Doing biceps. Biceps is always a good day. Probably the most fun workout, Afterwards, I just feel mad horny, like I want to fuck all the time. But I'm not really fucking anything because I'm focused on the things I've got to do. I'm preserving my energy for other things. And I'm directing it towards what's most important right now. So it's crazy, but semen retention really is the real deal, man. Like, it's something I feel like a lot of men should practice as soon as possible, honestly, because it's only gonna better you. It's only gonna make you feel like more accomplished. The gains are gonna come a lot quicker. You'll actually feel a lot stronger as well. You get some symptoms from it, like you get these like head rushes, headaches from time to time, which are annoying. They fucking hurt. They're like migraines, like mini migraines, and they can last for hours as well. And it'll put you off wanting to do anything. You'll probably find yourself sitting and lying in bed. But I mean, it doesn't happen that often. Like, it might happen maybe once every 2 months or so. And it's just because that's where the energy is redirecting itself towards, because it travels from your balls all the way up to your brain. And in between that, obviously, your frame, your torso, like your heart, your organs, like it renews all of, everything that gets broken down over time as we age. It basically it restores the properties of all of the, minerals, vitamins lost, so that you can continue to be like, strong and active, even if you're aging, right? And of course, it doesn't matter how much you retain, you're still going to age. You can't reverse aging. You can't reverse age. But what it does is it basically just strengthens you in the moment and kind of slows down the process more, because you've got more like energy, as opposed to if you were just like, busting here and there all the time, then all of that progress is just going to be like all that progress that you could have made in the gym, and we revitalizing your organs and stuff like that. It's all gonna be gone. So I was just like, man, I'm gonna try this, see how long I can go. Been going for a while. I've been going for like a year and a half, and I'm like, I enjoy it. Like, it's a benefit to my life. I feel more excited about everyday things, smaller things, bigger things going on in my life. It doesn't really matter, but I just feel like up for everything. Whether something bad happens, I don't panic as much or complain. I just kind of be like, oh, damn, okay, how can I deal with it? That's really just it. And I just keep pushing forward and moving on. So I'm not really phased by that much anymore. And obviously, I got my nicotine, helps sometimes as well. And I literally take like, you know, chewing gum as well, keeps me chill. Breath is smelling nice and everything. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm doing something good, I guess, with the semen retention stuff, but then also vaping is not that good because it's chemicals and like foreign Chinese ingredients in this. But hey, we can't be perfect in this life. We just have to try and strive as much as possible. Everyone's got their vices and addictions and stuff. But I just try to get addicted more. I think I got more good addictions, good vices than bad ones. So that's kind of how I offset the difference. Is by always staying in the plus instead of the minus zone. And that's kind of how I operate and try and operate on a daily basis. And so when it's time to have a kid, though, of course, I'm going to release, because it's like, yeah, that's how you create a child. It's DNA, it's biology. But for the meantime, I'd rather be retaining this, keeping it inside of me, strengthening my androgens. And so what it does is when you retain, people are like, oh, why not release then if you're always creating the semen? But the issue with that is that you don't give it enough time to fully mature and develop. And when it does that, it goes to other parts of your, like, it literally swims around inside of you. It's weird. Sometimes I kind of shake a little bit if it gets intense. Sometimes you'll feel like light pulsations to like mid pulsations and then heavy pulsations, like the longer you go and retain. So it can feel like there's it can feel like there's something else that's inside of you, but it's literally a couple second pulse, but it could be a very strong one, right? And you'll be feeling it in all different types of places, literally like in your stomach, like in your muscles, like your biceps, your legs, like head, everywhere. Like, bro, it doesn't discriminate any body part whatsoever. So it's funny but it's true. And it kind of sounds unbelievable because a lot of people don't engage in this practice like on a serious level because they want to feel the pleasure instead of the pain of retaining. Because you get blue balls, like you feel like, damn, I want to go and smash. Like, I want to go and reproduce. That's what we're put here for. Yes, but reproducing, you're only really supposed to reproduce once you feel comfortable enough to be in a position where I can give my kids a great life. I can give my wife a soft life, all of that type of stuff, right? And of course, with soft life, I'm still going to instill certain sense of discipline and hardship, so that soft life for my kids and my wife is earned. They're not just going to get it by existing, right? They got to put in some work just as I'm putting in the work. But the difference is obviously they're not putting in as much work as me because I'm the one setting the foundations for everything to run its course over time naturally and just flow, So that's what I'm trying to set myself up for. And I think I'm doing a good job of it. And, retaining is like, it's crazy. As I said, your androgen receptor, like you start developing more body hair. I'm getting more body hairs across my stomach. And it's not too common because I'm African, right? I'm of like African descent. I'm black. So I don't like genetically, at least for me personally, there are Africans who can grow like a lot of body hair and chest hair and stuff like that. But mine hasn't fully developed and came in yet. But as I'm aging, it's developing. And I'm not necessarily a teenager anymore, but I'm an adult now and still a young adult. So I guess it does develop more and more. But I'm just trying to signal the fact that, yeah, I got testosterone, a high amount of it. I'm fertile. And so even if I don't get, let's say this, even if, years go by and I still haven't made it, I'm still not successful, I'll always have a chance, because as long as I'm maintaining a high testosterone, right, women are always going to be attracted. They instantly feel something as soon as I walk in a room without me having to say something, especially women who are younger. You know, I get a lot of love from like younger women, just good conversation, great energy, pretty feminine, like, you know, and I'm pretty masculine, so it's a really nice balance and distinction between the two genders at play, and I love that. And it's like they're in instant submission, and I don't have to say anything because they feel it. And so saying something at that point would just be overdoing it. And that's why a lot of people feel like they've got to say random stuff that's irrelevant to conversation or relevant to the context of the environment when they're around girls, because they're nervous from within, because they feel shame. They feel as though they're not doing the things they're supposed to be in order to get to where they're at. And it's not all just about money, but it's also about like your physical health. It's important to look as attractive as you possibly can and young as you possibly can, even whilst you age and are considered old. Because if you're by the number, you may be considered old at some point one day if you're not already. And but the difference is that people will perceive you to be young anyway, because if you look good and they can tell you're full of life in the face and in the eyes, and you know, you're maximizing your biology in order to maintain attractiveness, people are going to respect that. But also they're going to perceive you as younger. You can tell someone, you could tell, like, I could tell an 18-year-old girl I'm 23, but she's not really perceiving me as like a 23-year-old, more probably just perceiving me as someone in and around her age. And even I think that would be the case even if I was 30 years old in the same example, right? But just a bit older. I think that would still be the case, because it would be like, I'm not, my face isn't going to age as quick by the time I get to that point. And so I'm still going to be like on my ASAP Rocky shit where I can look 20 at 37 years old, you know? And that's something that you should strive for. Some of it is genetic at the same time, you know, but at the same time, like, you got to strengthen the genetics that you do have and just work with them to the most optimum level, and you'll achieve things that will kind of blow your mind. And I feel like that's what I'm on the path to seeing, you know. And so I got a lot of lean muscle, low body fat. I don't have abs because I don't work on them. So, but my stomach is pretty flat. And so, and I've always been pretty slim as well, obviously, right? I've grown up pretty slim and athletic. I always had that quite narrow, slender build, but my frame has gotten a bit bigger, you know. And I'm pretty dark in this light, so I'm not sure how well y'all even saw that. I gotta look back at the end of the video when it's done, because I don't really edit these videos. It's just one take. I go in and I say what's on my mind and I upload it. But maybe I'll have to think about or consider doing some editing for this video. I don't know. We'll see when I come to review it at the end. But man, retaining will give you an edge over other men. If you do it as a guy, it'll give you an edge over other guys, because women can feel, okay, he could get me pregnant right now. And if if I was to deal with him, if I was to allow him access to my body, which risks the chance of, you know, me getting pregnant by him, would our baby be healthy? Yeah, it would be. You know, I can see, because there are, you know, he has this certain stature about him, right? He has this certain, you know, he has certain features about him, right? That you can see fertility in, you know, which is going to lead to, you know, and a fertility, not just fertility, but fertility at an advanced level, which is going to lead to a strong and smart baby, right? With minimal complications, you know, if any, to be honest with you, right? And so that's what women want. They want the strongest offspring. That's what they chase. Like, people be like, women chase after guys with money and success. Yeah, to a degree, but at the same time, if you got the money and success externally, but internally you're still like a loser, internally you're still this skinny, like, dork, like, women are not really gonna respect you like that, because it's not really showing a sign of high testosterone. It's not really showing that, you know, you're going to be able to have the tools necessary to, you know, deliver her quality offspring, right? This is why a lot of dudes, even, even recently, a lot of dudes are now trying to get their women pregnant, or their wives pregnant, I should say, you know, and they're failing. Pregnancies aren't going through. Pregnancies are being, you know, I tried 10 years to have a kid with her, you know, every month we try it, and she never gets pregnant. Well, maybe because you don't really have, like, there's something that's affecting your testosterone, and it's a number of factors. It's diet, it's also cortisol levels, right? Stress. When you're in an excess of estrogen, like, I think there's some type of conversion that happens with testosterone, so it's lowered, you know. Um and so, because you're constantly stressing out, so you got to be kind of carefree, and but you've got to do the things that see. And this is why it's important to live a life and do the things that are actually important to you, that make you happy. Happiness is something that you should be living in a constant state of every single day. I'm not saying just be happy and just do drugs all day and party all day. Not that, but like things that give you actual real happiness and a sense of accomplishment. Because if you're working a job and you get money, but you don't get I never actually got real happiness and a sense of accomplishment working a job. Even if I did something that they would say I did good in, because to me, it didn't feel like I was building anything for myself when I did that. It just felt like I was reading a script, right? That someone else had set up and say, copy that to your best of the ability. I copied it, and then I got praise from copying it, maybe better than other people did, because they might have made a mistake and I didn't, because I revised over it or whatever. But at the end of the day, it was always still someone else's script. So it wasn't really me, because I was just saying the words, but I didn't create them. Do you see what I'm saying now? And this is why, like, and speaking of semen, it's creative energy, because all the properties in it, like zinc, magnesium, lecithin, all of this stuff, right? It's, bro, calcium, like, it's all, these are things that, like, you need to retain as much of as possible. Um, Now, of course, in this journey, you're gonna have like occasional moments where, if you're lifting and after you feel a huge testosterone boost and you feel like a little bit wet in your boxer shorts, right? After doing a session, after completing a session exercising or working out, right? That's normal. It's a little semen release there because you got like an excess of testosterone. It kind of has to be released, but it will only be a little bit. Most of that you're going to end up storing and reusing it anyway. But the reason for the retention over a longer period of time is so that your androgen receptors become more sensitive to that testosterone that's being stored. And from then, what it does is it actually burns body fat. So you can burn body fat by being mobile, but you can also burn body fat without having to be as mobile as well. Like, it's like an internal fasting that happens as well, which kind of burns your body fat as well. And it makes like, it strengthens your muscles, and yeah, bro, it's such a trip, and it's the best trip that you could ever be on and experience in life. And I don't know why a lot of men castrate themselves from experiencing it, because it's only a detriment to you in the long term. Think about it like this: if you're constantly magnesium deficient, zinc deficient, all of these vitamins deficient, right? And you're not taking supplements and on top of not taking supplements to kind of get those properties back, on top of that, you also have a bad diet and bad sleep. Your testosterone levels are going to tank, This is why I don't like an alarm when I wake up, because it interrupts my natural sleeping pattern. And my natural sleeping pattern is essential for me being able to wake up and feel good, and then feel good whilst doing the things that I need to do. We all have things that we need to do every single day, but there's a difference between feeling like shit doing them and feeling like the man doing them. And you want to feel like the man doing them. You want to have your cake and eat it too, right? You don't just want to make money but feel like shit whilst making the money, because inside something's missing. You want to have that thing that's missing. You want to feel full and complete whilst also making the money. It just makes everything a lot better. So don't be wasteful, but be resourceful. You leaking your semen just for a sense of pleasure, a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes. You're trading you're trading so much for it. It's not even really calculable. I can't fathom how much you're trading for it, but it's a lot. And so there's blood also in your semen. Blood contains properties, and blood is life force energy, right? That's why if you bleed out a lot, you could die, right? And so if you're releasing semen, you're bleeding through the semen, it's aging you. You're not going to live as long and prosperous and feel good while doing it at the same time. So you got to think about that. Now, there are probably some guys who are like some nuanced they represent a nuanced group of people where they naturally have a higher level of testosterone. So maybe they don't feel it as much when they bust a nut. But I know when I bust a nut, bro, I be feeling terrible. Like, even if I edge a little bit, I feel terrible. So it's just like, edging is a little bit better because I guess you don't, fully relapse. But they're both not great. So you got to get over these things, And these are things that I'm working on. And, bro, it's just served me so much good. There's nothing bad that comes with it. Bar a little bit of pain here and there. But, it doesn't stop me from doing what I need to do, So I just feel like retain, if you want the gains. Exercise consistently. Retain your semen consistently. Bro, you'll bulk up in no time, literally. You will literally lean shred so hard, you'll be mugging the whole world, like physique alone, And so it's like, people be like, it's all about the way you look. And it is about the way you look, But testosterone is an important factor. Because at the end of the day, most women want to get pregnant. There's a reason why 40% of men in history have procreated, right? And only 40%. And then you look at 90% of women in history that have procreated. And you're just like, because women don't have like the same burden of performance that we do. They're just looking for who's performing the best and who's got the best genes, all of this type of stuff, right? And so you got to make sure that your genes are strengthened. If they're not, she's not going to want to receive them. It's that simple. And yeah.